So before we get into the Mercedes C63, let's take a look at the Premier Velocity warehouse and have a look at some of the supercars that they've got in today. A lot of the cars are still on hire, but we've got a great selection of cars. First of all, we've got the Maserati Gran Cabrio. Probably a summer car, but the Gran Turismo 4.7 S model sounds fantastic and looks great. It's just got the Italian styling and is super fast. The Mercedes SLS AMG Roadster, you all remember the review and the Toyota Prius moment. Absolutely fantastic car, and it is, again, super fast. Moving on to the McLaren 12C Spider, a great review, probably faster than the 458, but lacking in passion compared to the 458, and the sound of the 458 doesn't compare to the McLaren. Onto the crazy Nissan GTR that's actually really dirty because it's just come back off hire. But I love this car, and I love the price of this car as well. It's a great budget supercar. Moving on to the lightweight Bentley Continental GT. It's actually Premier Velocity's heaviest car. But it looks awesome. Maybe it's too old for me, but I really want to review the car just to see for myself and see the power of the car. Next to the Bentley, we've got the C63 AMG that we're going to review today. It looks great. It's the four-door saloon with white and black interior matching the exterior, which looks great. And next to the AMG, we've got the 458 Italia, and everyone knows it looks great with the carbon roof and the yellow paintwork. Premier Velocity's favourite car and their most popular car for hire, the red LP570 Performante. I cannot wait to review this car. This is probably my most anticipated review, as it is the viewer on YouTube. So we'll leave that for a couple of weeks. Two more cars that Premier Velocity have got. They've got an Audi R8 Spider in a V8 model, which is currently on hire. But again, I cannot wait to test that car because it's one of my favourite supercars. And also they've got an LP560 in white, so it'll be really interesting to review this car next to the 560 to find out what the difference is between the Performante, the lightweight model, and the normal LP560. So let's kick off with the C63 AMG. Let's get inside and have a look at the interior. So I hope you enjoyed the tour of Premier Velocity's warehouse, some of the cars that they've got in stock, and hopefully you can see a little teaser of what's to come on my first supercar. But now I'm sat in the C63 AMG, just about to go out for the drive. So let's just have a first impressions of the interior. There's a lot of leather, a nice touch of stainless steel across here, a lot of black piano. The steering wheel, taking straight out of the C-Class into the SLS, and the interior in this car is very nicely specced with the cream and black seats. But one thing you can notice here is that it's actually got legroom. Compared to the GTR, this car goes one up on the fact that you can actually fit people in the back of it. But is that something that I want in a supercar? One thing I do want is a great view. The thing you can see out the front is the devilish looking bonnet and the awesome looking grooves, which look fantastic and really show that you're in something that is mean and wants to go fast. So let's get James into the car and we'll go for a drive. So this week, testing the Mercedes C63 AMG four-door saloon version. Four-door saloon. Premier Velocity's sports car. What would you class this as? What would you categorise the C63 in?
It's quite a strange one, really, because it's almost categorised in its own little space, because it's what, 450 horsepower this is, or 457 with the performance pack. But it's not really an M5 rifle, because it's smaller than that. But it's got kind of the same amount of power. So it's in quite a weird area of the market. But if we're going to talk about it in regards to performance, it's easily, it's Ferrari equipped, this car, really, to be totally honest. It's the same engine essentially as the SLS.
Yeah, there's 6.2 litre AMG power.
Naturally aspirated.
So it'd be interesting to see the engine responsiveness compared to the SLS, and see how Mercedes have engineered it to be a more sedated sports car.
It is. To be honest, this car, wow, it's a lot more lively on the road than the SLS.
lively in the sense of...
lively in the sense that you need to be awake if you're going to turn anything off. It's a powerful car, and the way that they've mapped it, there's a lot of torque, and so it does lose grip quite easily. The first time I drove a C63, I definitely
weren't expecting to be going sideways.
Do you know what? No, I was, but I just, you know, I had to agree with the whole kind of the Jeremy Clarkson, it's an axe murderer thing. It is. It does want to kill you. You know, it does. That's the way it's going.
The engine bonnet grooves show that it's angry, just from what you can see.
And to be honest, I think that even though this is a four-door saloon, this is one of those ones that it isn't, you know, sedated in the way it's been designed. You can tell that it's a C63.
Yeah.
It's got a very aggressive stance, the way that the front end's been designed. It's got those trademark, those big AMG alloys, the red brake calipers. It's got a little carbon support. Yeah, completely. Everything's been flared. It's got the four exhausts at the back. I mean, you know,
that sounds amazing.
And it sounds fantastic. But yeah, I mean, if we talk about the oral kind of pleasure that this thing gives, it's just fantastic. I mean, the Mercedes AMG engine it's one of the best power plants that you can have really on offer, and I still stand by the fact that the 6.3, this engine,
6.2,
sorry, 6.2.
I did get.
Do you know what? That's right. I shouldn't be saying that. It is 6.2. I know. It's
Mercedes trick us.
They do.
And if you're not clocked on or switched on while we're filming, I mean, I got caught out in the SLS.
I'm not switched on.
Not switched on.
But what I love about AMG engines, especially related to the automatic gearbox, you know, everything from this to the E63 to the S and the CL and the G-Wagon as well, all those, it's that same engine and that real kind of definitive rumble that you just love playing around with at low speed. I mean, you can drive around, you don't have to drive like an idiot, and you can just pull out of turns and go.
It does sound really nice.
Sounds really good. You don't have to go 900 miles an hour for it to sound good.
It sounds different to the high-pitched supercar, Italian thoroughbred.
And it is a comfy drive. It's a nice driving position.
Well, we're just cruising along now, and you'd feel like you're in any other
C-Class Mercedes. You just need to make sure that you are
awake,
and you need to have a good look at what's going on in the road in front of you, because the thing with the SLS is that you've got that double clutch gearbox. You can see on the steering wheel here we've got the same, almost exactly the same paddle setup as the SLS. However, the double clutch system in the SLS is the only time that system gets used in a Mercedes, and this is the standard kind of automated manual slash kind of auto system. It's not the greatest system. It's quite dull witted. If you turn this little dial here around into manual, and we're using the manual system in fourth, it doesn't. I mean, it does it, but if I accelerate a little bit, you see how long it takes. I mean, it takes so long to change gear.
Quickly do a poll on YouTube. What would you prefer, a C63 or a GTR? Because it would be quite interesting to see the comments.
Yeah.
On who prefers reliability, a bit less power, and a lot of noise, and a bit more comfort and luxury. Because as you can see, we've got nice stainless steel here. The seats are all leather.
I mean, you can just tell
black piano.
It's quieter in here. It
100%.
feels well made. When the doors close, they don't make a funny clicking noise. You know,
that was one of my pet hates in the GTR, is how loud the road was.
Absolutely, you know, but that's because they put nitrogen in the tyres, you know, just to make it go around the Nürburgring faster. You know, I mean, that's great. I'm definitely going to get on board with that, but unfortunately, you know,
the GTR is very track focused.
99.9% of the time, you're nowhere near it.
It does feel fast, and I know that you're not pushing it.
Yeah, exactly. But to be fair, we've had a really bad luck with traffic at the moment. But yeah, it's really quick. I mean, you know, the great thing with this, because it's naturally aspirated, all the power's near the top end, so you really need to actually rev it out. So that's flat. Right, so change that in a couple of years. So it just gets about 6 grand, which is there. It feels quick.
Jesus. Yeah, I see what you mean by
when it gets to the top end, it starts to feel kind of like supercars, which is really impressive in something like this. I mean, it's really, really well built. So when you're going along and it's kind of 50% of what towards your limit, for example, when you're kind of halfway towards what you should be doing, this car feels right at home. You know, you can tick along quite happily at that. But when you start doing a little bit more with it, which you could do in the 458 or in the GTR or even in the Lamborghinis, this just starts to feel a little bit unwieldy. You don't want to do, you don't want to get it into that stage really. You know, it kicks down really well, but you can feel it kind of cruise around.
Yeah. I completely agree with you on the naturally aspirated engine, where once you hit 6,000 revs, the nose almost kicks up again.
It does,
and goes even more, and it's just like there's more to give. The final verdict of the C63 AMG. So we've discussed that it's not an out-and-out performer. It's more based around a balance between luxury, bit of power, and an all-round lazier drive than most cars.
Most of the cars,
that we're going to be testing. Yeah, that's what we're.
I think that the big standout point of the C63 is that it has a very, very unique and likeable character. Okay, it hasn't been, you know, designed to the nth degree, and it hasn't been, you know, there's not a bunch of performance figures that stack up against it, and they haven't spent hours and hours worth of testing. They just whacked a stupid engine into a
normal saloon car
and said, there you go, enjoy that. That's what they did, and I love that mentality. I think that's brilliant, and,
it is.
And that's why this car sells well.
About the size of this car feels way smaller than the GTR, and it is way smaller than the GTR.
It is quite a small thing.
And we touched slightly upon the GTR's back seats, which are non-existent.
Oh, but
here,
the back,
everyone can fit in the back, and this is the 4-door saloon car. Mercedes do a 2-door coupe as well, which I have sat in the back of, and my hair, yes, of course, people are going to say, well, you stick it up, but my hair is brushing the ceiling, but you can still fit in it.
Absolutely. I think that
size-wise, this is better than a GTR.
Absolutely, and honestly, I would buy a C63. It's the one kind of it's one of those cars that if you look at the other cars in the category, you know, the BMWs or the fast Audis and things like that, it's the one that you go down on the way to the BMW showroom to buy the M3, and then you'd stop on the Mercedes one on the way there and buy this instead.
Yeah, I think I'd be the same.
This just has that little bit of an X factor for the area of the market that it's in. So I think that for this kind of money and this kind of style of car, this is the best in regards to performance and for character. It's a special thing.
Yeah. Well, I completely agree with you, and
that's why we're in my first supercar, and we're in this because it is in this category. Yeah. So well done to Mercedes.
Yeah, definitely. C63 AMG, tick.